Thank you. Ms. Hempford?
My last years at Plainfield High School, I taught 4 bilingual classes. And I got to know the students very well. And of course, their parents did not speak the language, but the students did. So it wasn't really difficult because the parents want to be involved. They have education on a pedestal. That's all they want for their children, is to be educated. They would do whatever. If you have community meetings, they're there. We would have parent meetings. They came. They would bring foods. They would have questions. We had interpreters to translate, and most of their children do the translating though. But anyway, that's what we did. So I would keep engaging them in every way I can, because they will come out to whatever. They invited me to their community, their churches. I went to their homes. You just have to make them feel comfortable. And if they feel comfortable, they will do whatever it takes, because education is a priority.
I do agree with Ms. Hembry. They do come out. So regarding this question, they do come out and they are engaged. But if you look in this audience, they're not here. Most of them are not here. And so that becomes a problem. However, we do have to understand that there's an attack on them. ICE is out there, and many of them are undocumented. And so therefore, there's a fear. And so they would prefer to stay home. However, when they do have events at the school, they come out. I was in Evergreen School when I was on the PTO, and the room was filled with Latino parents coming to see their children. If you have a Latino event, the heritage, they come out. But for anything other than that, they are a little reluctant and they pretty much stay home.
Thank you. Mr. Andrews?
You agree very much with Ms. Powell just said. If you look out into the crowd, lovely to see your faces, but there's definitely a lack of representation. And so part of that is going to meet people where they are at, right? So they do have communities, they do have their meetings, they do have communities. They do have places that they go to, and we need to go to those areas and make sure that we're having a conversation. I can tell you the truth. Sometimes I thought about myself, I would gladly go out and find someone who I think should be represented on this board. And so it's I have been doing it, but it is my goal to do it even more so, is to encourage those friends that I grew up with, who are still in the community, who are of Hispanic background, to run for the Board of Education. In fact, one of my friends said so recently that it's something that he's interested in. They weren't necessarily aware of how. I think that is the benefit of the Parent Institute, is helping people find access to our system who might not otherwise know best how to do so.
Thank you. And now 30-second rebuttals.
All right.
Ms. Pyle?
We have a Latino on our candidate list, and we can't even get her to attend an event. So that becomes a problem, but we do have a Latino in the audience, but we really do need to find a way to engage them.
And I'm sorry, I absolutely recognize.
I know my time, yeah.
Okay.
But there's such a small amount, again, that's represented here, and our community is drastically changing, right? From the east side to the west side, we're seeing a difference, but they're not here. And a really quick story, I went into Cook School, I'm not gonna have time. I went into Cook School the other day, a school that I grew up and went to, and it's an entirely different population. We have to make sure that we're addressing that.
Ms. Hemphrey?
We're not addressing the needs of the Latino community. That's number one. At the high school, like all the other schools, predominantly Latino, and the parents have so much to offer. They are, number one, education is so important to them. I love it. It's back like when I was a kid. You respect teachers. Missy. The respect is there. Everything is there. They need to be respected. And I really believe that they don't feel that they are respected enough. And they feel uncomfortable. We haven't given them the comfort level that's needed to bring them out.
I think that we have to recognize the reality of our demographics and reach out to that community. I'm all about relationships. It also means building trust. So we have to extend ourselves to reach out and make them feel comfortable that we are one community.
Okay, so now we'll have closing remarks in reverse order to the opening. So we will start with Mr. Andrews.
Again, thank you for the opportunity to talk with you. I'll be around afterwards. Please feel free to ask me questions. Again, I think it's necessary to reiterate that I am student-centered first, believing that education should be centered around the needs of the student. And oftentimes, when we are engaged in conversations, we at times slip away from what's most important. Leaving aside our attitudes, our egos, our behaviors, the things that have happened to us in the past, I know that the community as a whole can do better. And it's my commitment to be a part of seeing that we do better. I hope that you'll give me that trust again. I do appreciate the opportunity to talk to you tonight. Thank you very much.
Thank you. Mr. Rice, go next.
I want to thank the league again for the opportunity to address you. I want to thank everyone on the panel for participating. It's not an easy thing to do. What we do is because we care about our community. I firmly believe that every journey starts with a step. So we need to step forward in a new direction, new leadership, to focus on making our children more successful. But I also want to say that it should not stop with the elections. Win or lose, life goes on. And so we need to make sure that we're staying engaged as stakeholders in this community, as parents in this community, to continue showing these kids that we care, we want them to be successful. Thank you very much.
Thank you. And Ms. Anderson-Person?
Yes, thank you. As we all know, public schools are a right and not a privilege in this country. It is the great equalizer in our society that allows every child to enroll and obtain a free, quality education so that our children can become successful members of society. The role of a school board member is to make sure schools are being run well. The Board of Education has an important role in determining policies that look to improve the educational experience of our children. As Plainfield residents, we are blessed to live in a city where education is highly valued by so many people, from Rock Avenue all the way over to Terrell Road. Each year, we face decisions on how we're going to allocate funds to serve our children. For example, are we going to place our dollars towards building infrastructure, or are we going to place those dollars towards books and computers? Are we going to decide which programs are going to be funded and which ones are going to be cut? If I am reelected, I will continue to represent the community, asking questions, pushing and requiring data to support all recommendations being made by the superintendent and her team to make data-informed decisions. I will continue to improve the quality of our educational system with a new superintendent of school in place, and I'm super excited that we can begin to create and implement a new strategic plan. And I will continue to engage the community and other stakeholders so that a broad spectrum of voices, concerns, and input is heard. My vision is simple. I see Plainfield as a top-tier school district, and it's a place that I know that we can get to together. I am a voice for you, and I'm an advocate working on behalf of the community. Thank you.
Thank you. Ms. Hempry?
My lens is different from anyone at this table because I actually worked in the school district for over three decades. I know how my students, I know what my students needed. I know what their needs are and were, and I know what the students need now. So improving the quality education, the things that we need to bring into the school district, resources, textbooks, what have you, et cetera. Those are the things, resources for teachers. So we need resources for parents, we need resources for the students, we need resources for the employees. If we can get the three, the community, the board, the community, the parents and the students, if we can fulfill all of those needs, I am a student advocate. I mean, my first priority would be students. It has always been, and it will always be. But the community, the parent, which are community consists of the parents. We have to get them involved. We have to do whatever we need to do. And right now, we just finished talking about the Latino community. We need to make them feel more comfortable. We need to embrace them so they can be part of this process, so they can come out to events like this. As a board member, that's what I would do. That's what I want to do. I want to make sure parents are involved. I want to make sure that the budget that we have go towards students, to make sure that they receive the quality education that's necessary, that they can have academic success. And that's what it's about. It's all about children. It's all about their academic success. It's all about them achieving. That's what I want to do. I'll work with the superintendent, work with other board members cohesively. That's what I want to do. So we won't have a different superintendent every
Thank
week
you, Ms.
and a different principal every 2 weeks.
Thank you. Go ahead.
Whether you voted for me or not voted for me, 3 years ago, when I voted when I voted as a school board member, I voted for what was best for our children, and not just my 3 girls. Whether you vote for me or not on Tuesday, November 5th, and I am able to remain a Plainfield school board member for the next 3 years, I must and always will remember whatever decisions I make as a school board member is for all of our children, not just my 3 girls. I will continue to listen to and reflect the concerns of our community, and will do my utmost best to work collaboratively with the superintendent and fellow board members to improve our schools, providing it's for our children. At the beginning of this year, 2019, during the board's reorganization, I, the loudest voice and the most transparent board member, nominated the president. And you are probably asking why, and why this person. First, because I knew already the votes were there and for him to be president again. And I wanted to show the board, the administration, interim superintendent, Ron Belandi, and the community that this minority board member, and I don't mean that I'm African-American, believes the board is doing the right thing by allowing Dr. Belandi to do great work for our children. And what happened immediately after? Hidden agenda came into light. The union president was on the table to be fired. I, as a Plainfield resident, a city of Plainfield employee, a parent of 3 young ladies that attend the Plainfield Public Schools, and as a Plainfield Public Schools board member, was totally disgusted. And making a long story short, I made a motion to dismiss all charges. Fortunately, it passed. On Tuesday, November 5th, please vote for the children by voting straight down column 1 for Carmen Cedar Powell, Lynn Anderson Person, and Matt Rice. Thank you so much, very much, for attending this forum, and travel home safely.
Thank you, and thank all of you. I think we should give the candidates a round of applause. And we'll have some closing remarks from the league president now.
You're not supposed to start a speech with an apology, but I will. I was remiss. Mr. Mayor, welcome. Adrian Mapp, and all the city councilmen, Jorlette, Barry, Charles, Corey, thanks all for showing the community how important these forums are for the entire community. They are extremely important. I mean, guys, I cannot overemphasize. You heard the numbers, so once again, the league is a nonpartisan group. Vote whomever you want, just vote. Reminder again, there's a lot of activity that's going to be coming up. The 2020 census, the general election next year. We're going to be working extremely hard come spring to start, once again, our voter registration. I was extremely fortunate that I got to go to the high school and to pause to register kids. They are very, very interested. I was just overwhelmed by the response by those kids. So, you as adults, you got to set the example. If you got a 17-year-old, tell them to get out there. It's too late now, but we're going to start it again, in 2020, in the spring. It's going to be really, really important for us to get every single vote out there. And also the 2020 census, we gotta get that money coming into our state, our community, okay? Once again, thank you for being here. Inez, always great to see you. And like our board, Carmen Siva said, be safe going home. It's still kind of slippery out there. But again, thank you for being here and have a good day.